So I'm here in Seattle for like a day or two, and I asked Fabrice Canel from Microsoft to see if he's available, and he said he could maybe stop by for a minute and see me at the hotel. So we're gonna uncover all the secrets to index now, indexing, ranking incredibly well using a simple meta tag called Rank Me Well Fabrice. I'm just joking, but it's gonna be an interesting talk with him. He knows about Microsoft being better than most people. But first, a word from our sponsor, Ahrefs. Do you wish you could get more traffic to your website? Half the battle of that is knowing what to fix on your website regarding SEO. You could always hire an SEO consulting firm to do that, but that could be expensive. I've always said, if you could do it in-house, understand SEO, understand what you need to fix, you could probably fix it better than most SEO companies because you know your business, you know your customers, you know your content better than anybody else. What if you get a free SEO audit from an amazing tool set? That is the power of Ahrefs Webmaster tools. Ahrefs Webmaster Tools gives you the tools and the information you need to go ahead and see a list of things that you could fix on your site immediately. You'll see the keywords you're ranking for, understand how Google sees your content and your site, and discover how making changes to your website could absolutely blow up your traffic in Google search. So check out Ahrefs Webmaster Tools at ahrefs.com/webmaster-tools. And thanks again to Ahrefs for sponsoring. We're live. Thank you so much for meeting me here. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. I know you are a very busy person, and thanks for doing this. I'm not fully set up, but I told you I'll be in Seattle, and I think your office is not too far from here, so thanks again for coming out here. Can you please tell people in that camera over there who you are?
Welcome, Barry, in Seattle. So I'm Fabrice Canel. I am at Microsoft for nearly 26 years. Very long time. I am a search veteran. I am dealing with at Bing since the early days of MSN Search with the discovery internet content, with a selection of the best content on the internet, with the crawling, and with the processing of documents. I used to say that if your site is missing from Bing, that's for me. This is my responsibility to get all the internet good quality content indexed at Bing.
Could you give us your cell phone number so people can submit URLs directly to you?
No, you cannot.
Oh, okay, fine.
We have Webmaster tools and other tools to help people. Thank you for helping my mailbox and thank you for helping me. Yeah.
So you've been at Microsoft for 26 years?
Yeah, 26 years.
You were doing that in Seattle for 26 years?
I started in France. I was
Hence the accent?
As a developer, yes, strong French accent. Since 2001, I am in the US, and since 2001, I'm really dealing with search. Since the early days of...
Since 2001, you said?
2001. So before MSN Search beta, I was the lead PM for search across Microsoft.com. This was the stage where Microsoft.com was the 5th most popular site on the internet. And now obviously this is less popular, but this was an interesting early days of SEO, adding keywords, title, all these things to make sure that the content was indexed.
So this was the search engine on Microsoft.com.
This was the search engine of Microsoft.com. Not only managing the UX, we were managing search across Microsoft.com, MSDN, support on Microsoft.com, Xbox, all the internal Microsoft.com content across many sites. Very interesting.
And that was a huge part of the web probably. Like you said,
this was a big part of the web. This was very interesting and very challenging. We were missing obviously the outlinks content, outlink links information about that. And then we flipped the technology on MSN Search beta.
That was when?
This was 2006 when we started flipping.
So you were from 2001 to 2006-ish. You were doing basically site search.
Site search. I was a VP type of things of search across Microsoft.com, and when I switched to MSN Search and Live Search and Bing to index the whole internet.
And MSN Search started when? That was before?
MSN Search started, so first MSN Search was powered by Inktomi many years ago and switched to Microsoft technology in 2006 approximately.
So you pretty much started MSN Search while they were right from the start.
In the early days, yes.
And you, even since then, you pretty much were about indexing the content.
Yes, my passion is to download the internet in high-level summary.
Yeah, big hard drives,
This is fascinating. This is a very interesting space. The size is infinity. Disclosing that every day we discover more than 70 billion distinct URL. So a big number of URL unknown, this frontier that keeps expanding. And so this is a very challenging space to discover all brand new content and to rank it and to select the best content on the internet, yes.
Super interesting. That's 7 billion.
Yeah, 7 billion new distinct URL that are normalized. We remove useless parameter.
That's not a new metric. You said that before, right?
I disclose this metrics in various conferences. So this is just the size of the internet. People ask,
Is it
this is a
growing?
common question about what's the size of the internet? How many URLs would there? And my answer to this question is really infinity. We can crawl as much as we want. There is calendar where next day there may be something. There may be some content that has been published at this day. So this is really infinity number of URLs out there.
I remember back in the old days, Yahoo and Google used to fight at Google Dances about who has a bigger index.
Yeah, so size really at the end doesn't matter. What matters is, are you able to satisfy customer with relevant URLs? This is really what we focus on, satisfying customer. And certainly you need a large size. I cannot disclose the size, but what is most interesting is having the best content to satisfy customer. This means that you really need to handle this keep expanding size to really control it, because else it will be exponentially increasing. So we, as Google and us disclose, we cannot index everything, impossible. It's all about selecting the best content that satisfy queries, including normalization. So please remove useless parameter, having great content management system that are SEO friendly, help us to get to the core of the internet, to what you want us to index.
So many things I want to expand on. So the old days of URL structures were probably insanely annoying for you guys. Remember, every single time you go to a page, it would create a new URL for you?
Yes,
Session
ID. So yes, session ID, stories.
That must have been hell.
Yeah, this has been a yell and not yell, because a lot of time this was the same content management system, this was the same framework, and so this was used things that was easily detectable, and where you apply what we call global normalization rules. I mean, you just strip all these parameters from the URL.
Right.
You have to follow, because often it's a free auto redirect that go to the destination URL, but you know that you should not keep the destination URL, because each time you call the source URL, it will generate a new URL. So this is things you can model per site or globally on the whole internet, and to remove completely these parameters from the whole system. Yeah.
Right. I built a small tool that I use for my own tracking purposes to remove, like, when I cover something, I want to make sure I don't cover this. I write a lot, so I don't want to cover the same thing again. So I have ways of tracking that, and there's so many ways to track uniqueness across multiple pages and the same page as well.
Yes.
So I can't imagine what goes through your head in terms of doing this for 20-something years.
Yeah, and this is where, obviously, years ago we were basic data mining and basic heuristic, and since many years, since 15 or so years, this is all about machine learning. This is all about really deeply understanding the content, because what you really care at the end is, when you duplicate the content, is really be able to identify the primary content of the page versus all this navigation, advertising things that are always distracting. Duplication, so you care about the primary content of the page, and in this case you are able to dedupe and really understand deeply what you need to dedupe.
Right. And I know with Google, they recently in the past 5 years have been saying not just about we don't want to index all the web, but if you have issues with being indexed, it's often a quality issue with your content. Do you know what they mean by that, since you could talk about it from a Bing perspective? Is it the same concept with you guys?
Yeah, I think so. So first, again, as I explained, we discover a lot of content, and so this is keep exponential, and we cannot handle everything. So this is all about containing this expansion, this kind of supernova that keep exploding all the time, about new content that are created, often by people that are good intent people, but often by spammer.
Okay.
And most of this is spam or duplication content that keep creating content that really do not matter for the end user. So you have to control, and at the end select the best content on the internet to ensure that you are able to satisfy the customer by indexing only good quality content.
Okay, but what defines a piece of good content versus not? I mean, I see you guys don't rank my website too well. I'm just joking. What defines you have two pieces of content on the same topic.
Yeah.
One's written one way, one's written. It's not just links. Obviously, links is one component.
So links clearly help discovering URLs.
Right.
And in fact, I encourage everybody to read Bing Webmaster Guidelines. Bing Webmaster Guidelines is something that is rewritten every few years. In fact, we have updated Bing Webmaster Guidelines today, so encouraging you to have a look at that. And
we're not going to say what day it is, but today.
Yes, today. But the benefit of this is really to understand, because we want to be transparent. We don't want to be hidden all the things that we are asking Webmaster to do. So we communicate to webmasters via big Webmaster guidelines about what to do and not to do. And if you follow the rules, you have high chance to be ranked and indexed in top position, especially if you have unique content that is niche. If you try to compete with Facebook to be at top position for the Facebook query, unfortunately, you have very little chance to surface at top position for the Facebook query, because to satisfy customer, we have really to link to facebook.com homepage. But if you have some niche content, interesting content specific to some queries, yeah, you have a chance to be ranked and indexed at Bing and maybe surface in top position.
The way you're wording it sounds more like, as long as you're not manipulating us or spamming us, we'll probably index it.
Yeah, we have specific rules about how to play with the rules in Bing Webmaster tool guidelines, so encouraging you to read this part because it's detailing via few clear, a dozen bullet points, what you should do and not do.
I mean, you could have, I don't know, it could be like 50,000 pieces of content that's legit written about notepads. Mm-hmm. All written by humans, all written for good intent, but you don't need to index all 50,000 pieces of content if they're the same notepad.
Yeah, so at the end it's really about not only what Bing thinks, but also what customers are thinking, what our judges are thinking about this content, to really identify the content that is missing. And daily, we have a lot of, not only internal to Microsoft, what we call DSAT, customer dissatisfied by the search engine, but also external. So we listen and clearly are able to adjust. At the end, again, our main goal is to satisfy customer. We don't do 100% right. I have to disclose this. Nobody is on the industry. We are learning and improving every day and continue to improve.